Y'all bear with me as I have to talk this particular dream channel message out, but I feel like it's going to provide someone with some information that they may need. So I want to give all the details necessary. I feel like it's important. But it started with, it seemed like it was early in the morning. I had to meet someone. This person in real life, I don't know them personally, but they are somewhat of a card reader type, not tarot, but they use like the traditional, like the suites of the cards, like a playing card deck. They use that to predict events in people's lives. In real life, this is somebody on social media who happens to be a leader. They teach, they have a website, they'll put up different instances of celebrities, circumstances, and happenings, and it points towards, the cards that are relative to this person's, I guess, their birth chart or their life path or whatever. So it's like we're in a 10 of diamonds energy, that's just for example. And I, would assume that a lot of good, fortunate things would come from that. But that, that's not relevant to what I'm about to tell you about, but just as an example. Anyway, so we're arriving, and I say we because there was a Caucasian lady who arrived with me who I did not know, but it just assumingly we went to the same, what seemed like an apartment in a building, like we arrived at the same place at the same time, but the sun wasn't even out, you guys. So when we get there, we kind of casually walk in, but I'm following someone else's lead. And then the lady who arrived, seemingly around the same time as me was behind me. So I'm just like, oh, we're just going to casually just walk into somebody's apartment. Like, she really left the door unlocked. Like, is this what y'all do? Assuming like I'm new to this whole orientation process of getting ready to, if this is a course I signed up for or just somewhere I was told to be at a certain time. So we're just casually just kind of walking in. Again, I'm following someone else's lead. This person disappears into, well, they did disappear, but they went, I watched them, of course, to see where they were going because I knew I needed to, have some sort of cautionary energy because I didn't know these people like that. I didn't know walking into someone's home, and them leaving the door unlocked was acceptable. So there was a bedroom. Well, we walked kind of through an apartment, I guess like a railroad style. And on the left was a door, which when was opened, I could see was a dark bedroom. There was obviously a bed, and I was able to see the lady who I was speaking of in the bed with what I had assumed was her daughter. But later on, after the dream, after I woke up with the walk the dog, all that, I don't think that was her daughter. Because they were kind of like nestled up. You know what I mean? Like, okay, anyway. But meaning the lady who teaches, and even in real life, she's a little older, a little longer in the tooth. But to have this little young girl propped up with her was, I didn't question it because I don't really know their dynamic. But I was thinking after the fact that probably was not her daughter. Anyway, that's none of my business. But for some reason, I was expecting a masculine energy, which was like a brother energy. And there was a door opposite that bedroom door, which I assumed in the dream. I don't know why, but I just felt like there was a brother there to this dynamic. So that the mom would have been like the teacher. The daughter would have been the one snuggled up in the bed, but the daughter also had a sibling, like a brother. That was what was already kind of in my mind frame in the dream. So his bedroom, I had assumed, was the other door. So I was like, no, we don't need to open that door, because it was giving me kind of freaky vibes. Like, I don't know why, but for some reason I was attached to somebody else's emotions to where this person is like a predator, like the guy. He could have been like, old enough to be on his own, but he wasn't, kind of like maybe in his late 20s, early 30s, could have even been in his early 40s. But it was like, that's the door you don't want to open, because if you do, it's like creep squad energy, like, ew, and it's too early in the morning. And plus, like, I already have this feeling. So I knew not to even stick around for the door to even be open. So for some reason, I headed out, and I'm outside as, the sun begins to kind of show itself. And y'all, this is when it gets really strange and important. So I'm outside with the young lady. It looks like the outside of the same apartment building, but we kind of just walk down the street a little bit. On the left side of us are like woods, like trees, nothing. But we're walking down like a paved road. There weren't any markings on the road, so it's like a little back road behind the apartments or something. So I'm looking at the backside of the apartments on my right hand side. So me and this girl, we're just kind of standing there. And then all of a sudden, I see a commotion happening on the side of the back, well, on the back of the apartments, you know, on that side of the street. So I'm looking, but then I remember telling her like, hey, look. And then what we were looking at, or what I discovered, was it looked like 3 Caucasian ladies trying to either climb up or escape, but they had like a white bed sheet they were using to hold on to, and it got scary a couple of times because they lost their grip quite a few times. It didn't look like a long fall, but it seemed like they were determined. Like you gotta make it to, I guess, the other window, because there was another window in reference. Like they were coming from a window trying to get to another window by way of this bed sheet. So the girl that was standing with me, for some reason, she became irate because my concern was, you about to wake everybody up. Why are you yelling at these women? So I don't know what that was, you guys. Me standing there on the street, I was concerned somebody was going to fall, but not even questioning really what they were doing. It was the fact that that's not safe, whatever y'all are doing. And there looked like it looked like there wasn't any sort of grips outside of the building, like you could just easily like hang on to this or, you know, catch yourself with this. No, it was just like the window and the bed sheet and these 3 ladies trying to escape or get to another part of the building, outside of the building, without anybody knowing, because I'm assuming they wanted to keep this quiet as well. And then the girl I'm with, she's yelling at them like, what are you doing? Like she was really saying that. I'm like, wow. So anyway, you guys, so that was that. We walk a little further down, but this lady disappeared somewhere. She wasn't part of the next part of the dream, which I feel is still connected. Like the physical area is still the same. I find myself at this point of the dream with I just walked into like a group of guys, like they were just kind of there talking, maybe introducing themselves, but it felt like one I may have been familiar with because I ended up taking off with him, walking a certain distance with him. So I must have known this one because it felt like familiar in the dream, even though I don't know this person in real life. So somebody asked me, you know, after they got through introducing themselves, they said they were from Philadelphia. I believe that's what he said. A young guy, young African-American guy. He seemed very charismatic. He was trying to eat something on the go, like it was in a little takeout box. He's trying to eat it and introduce himself at the same time. But he turns his attention toward me like, yeah, I haven't seen you, you know, well, who are you? So I was prepared even to say who I was, but I actually said, you know, my actual name in this real life, and also said where I was from. And I told him the town and the state. It's even a town I grew up in. I don't live there anymore. But I gave that information and I had to repeat. For some reason, I had to kind of declare and let them know that I'm from the South. I don't know why I had to do that, but if the intention for me felt like I need to let these people know that I am from the South, as if that carried some sort of weight. But I felt like it was more or less to let them know I'm from out of town. I'm not from around here. I don't get down with y'all. I don't know how this works. I don't know nothing about nothing. It seemed like I had to make this clear. I don't know why. I didn't say all that, but the intent behind me telling I was from North Carolina was important for some reason. I had to let them know I wasn't from around, you know. I don't know if it had to do with I didn't know about their doings and, you know, what was going on. I don't know, young. I don't know. Anyway, you guys, here's the other part of the dream I feel is important. So the guy, remember the guy that I said I kind of stepped up into a conversation or whatever that was already happening. And the guy next to me, kind of a heavy set. He could have been of Latin descent, possibly, but mixed with African American, something like that. I don't know that dynamic. But I want to tell y'all, I felt like I was up north. Because this is important. Me and this guy, we kind of take off walking down the street. And I feel like he's kind of giving me the ropes or showing me a tour or something. And somehow we end up in this hallway. It feels like an industrial type hallway of a building. Like it's got, it seems like it's a hallway that's made out of metal. Yeah, interesting. Big, it wasn't narrow. It was kind of wide. It was a good size hallway and it was long. So we're walking and y'all, my best friend was with me and appeared out of nowhere, my deceased best friend. So I knew she was tagging along with me. Now she wasn't with me. I don't assume when I first walked into that conversation, I don't recall her energy being there. Her energy did show when we started walking down this hallway. It wasn't like a surprise, I'm here, hey. It was like naturally, I just knew that she was physically there with me walking down the hallway with this guy. So we're walking and there are like doors, but they're like wide apart. Like you would have a door you're approaching on the right and then it'd be like another, like, I don't know, 100 feet before you get to the next door, maybe 50 to 100 feet. I'll say 50 feet before the next door. So we're walking and talking and he's talking and I'm, trying to soak up, whatever it is he's trying to, tell me, school me on or, whatever this is. And I something says, to look back and I got in a panic because my best friend disappeared. And of course, I'm in a rage, about to cry, about to break down, all this kind of stuff. But the first instinct is go find her. So obviously, the result without saying so was that she was snatched into one of those doorways. But the doors were closed, you guys. So my best friend goes missing. The guy, he takes off to a door. He just absolutely turns around and runs back the other way from which we came. And he arrives at a door on the right and it's a coded door. Like it has a keypad on the door where the handle is. So he's punching in because I'm still standing there in shock, where he left me because he ran away from me to go back where we came. And he's trying to put the code in. I'm watching him from a distance do this. I don't know why I was stuck standing there. I guess I was trying to process the shock of what happened. Y'all, this is for somebody, y'all. Anyway, he gets the door open and me feeling like I'm in a movie is predicting what's about to happen because I'm standing where I am away from him where he left me, right? So I'm thinking, oh God, I got to run and catch this door because somebody was coming out of a neighboring door, which he would have had to leave the keypad door once he got it open to run to where this guy is like moving like what looks like a mattress out of a room. It was cut off, so I wasn't able to really see what it was. And plus, it was at a distance. But I saw somebody kind of backing out of a door, holding something, carrying something large. So he leaves the keypad door to run to catch that door. And I'm thinking like the movie playing out, oh my God, I'll never reach that door in time before it closes because I have no idea what that code is, but I need to find my friend. So I take off running to the keypad door as he has already left that door to go catch the other door that somebody's backing, moving something out of. So about the time I got to the door, it closed. The keypad door. Of course, like a movie would play out that way. That's exactly what happened. And that's why I was like, oh God, because I'll never make it in time. So I arrived in some door. I feel like I was trying the doors and maybe one open because he disappeared. Oh, it was a door he went in because when I went in there, I was looking like, where did he go, y'all? With nobody in sight. Nothing but what it looked like was construction, because I could see like the construction dust on the floor, and maybe some brand new like banquet chairs that were still kind of stacked and covered in plastic, and and on the side of the room. It was newly construction, or it appeared to be that way. But y'all, I believe I was taken to some sort of tunnel. What seemed like, the back area of an apartment building, kind of in the cut, because on the opposite side of the back of the apartments is nothing but trees. Walking down that aisle and meeting these guys would look like we were about to walk into like a building, which we did. Well, I did with that person who I said felt familiar. We walked through there, and then my best friend, her presence was there physically, in the physical, like, oh, hey, like we were in real life, we were riders, like, we were always together. You see her, you don't see me, people are going to ask where, I am, one of those things, and vice versa. So when she disappeared, or when I discovered she was no longer there, that's when it was go time. But I'm like, wow, is that what this is? Is this like some sort of what they would call underground? Is because nobody knows that that's going on, or that's happening in this building, that's how they snatch you up, that's how they get you, or it's like, and it's quiet, it's silent, like you wouldn't even know that it occurred, because like I said, I was walking with her and I didn't even realize she was gone until something said, look behind you, where is, and nowhere to be found. And then the other instance of the girls on the sheet outside of the apartment window, just kind of hanging, trying to make their way to the other window, seeming like they're trying to move about, and then the thing with the lady and the young girl, she wasn't a young girl. She was of age. She was older, not older, but that whole scenario, like what really, and why did I even show up early in the morning? Could be 3, 4, 5. No, it wouldn't have been 5, but 3, 4 in the morning, because the sun, people were asleep. It was silent. It was quiet, and the sun wasn't even out. So anyway, I feel like that's some information for someone. I feel like the location was very much northern, because I specifically had to, let these people know I'm not from here. I'm from the South. Like that's what they would have just sanctioned me to, was the South. Never mind if it were Virginia, South Carolina, North Carolina, Mississippi, Texas. It was the South. So I don't know, y'all. I hope this helps. Y'all, I was getting the video prepared, and I was reminded of a next sequence after that. For some reason, I turned into like a Filipino, or it was giving, I'm just seeing, or it could be Indonesian. I'm just seeing a lot of tropical flowers. But the energy was, the characters changed into other people. So if me playing the role of someone abducted in the dream, because I feel like that's who I was the abductee, looking up, coming out of some sort of stupor to see a beautiful woman and a young man. The woman seemed older, but it's like she tricked me, like a surprise sort of energy. Or it was very like facetious. It wasn't very like, oh, welcome to, our home, or we're taking you, and, we're going to take care of you. Because we were in a ride, like some sort of car. I couldn't tell what we were in, but we were being transported, all of us. I want to say I was bound in some way. Maybe I was gagged. There's something in my mouth or over my mouth to where I couldn't speak. So all I could do was look and see and listen. But this lady, it was giving me one of those, I don't know, y'all, because I don't, yikes, I don't know how to say this. The best way I could say it is like a female villain, but a female. That's good. That's good enough. I don't even know what I was trying to say, but that's perfect. Thank you, Spirit, for that. A female villain, but very nice. Like, the smiles, the beautiful hair is nice, makeup, all of that. Yes, that sort of villain. So once we got to where we were going, it seemed like a celebration. I remember seeing like a fish, looked like it was being boiled or something. It seemed like it still had the scales on it. It was a whole fish, but they put it in like a white, like a large casserole dish sort of thing, like a baking dish. And they put it in there. It seemed like it was alive, but then they poured like hot water on it. It could have been oil. And then he took it, the guy who was in the car with me, or if it was a car, I don't know what it was. It was dark and all I could see was them. We were traveling. Okay, so it was dark how we were traveling. So we could have been traveling in some sort of transportation. I don't know what it was. It could have been a wheelbarrow for all I know that was covered. But it seemed like it was enclosed, the path we were traveling. So that could have been more tunnel sort of energy, like it was dark. So we get to this celebration. Everybody, it seems like it's supposed to be like a nice, happy family gathering or something. But, I guess I'm the one who was abducted to show up to this. I'm being told to call it a feast. So, yeah, I just wanted to add that, you guys. And the fish stood out because that could be pertaining to like a cultural or tradition or something like that. Because, he took the fish out of the dish because I was like, are the scales still on there? Like me and my natural mind, I'm like, are you about to try to eat that with the scales on it? So anyway, he took it and it had these big chunky black scales that work because he started to like scale the fish or remove the scales. I don't know what you call that. And these big black chunky pieces started flying off and the crowd was like, woo, like they were like, oh, like amazed or something. Like he was performing on like what do you call those shows where you sell gadgets and, you hear the crowd, ooh, that's what it kind of seemed like. Anyway, you guys, let me get out of here. Just wanted to add that.